Bigger. How about the time change? We're all so much brighter.
I know. Good to see you guys in the daylight.
Yeah, I still put my light on just in case. Okay. So, what did we think of the third section?
Shocked.
It was so much.
Intense.
Yeah, so much.
Let's see. Where did it start off?
I'm very curious. Like, I want to know what happens next already.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how I left. I was like, ah. And then I read it like early in the week and I was bummed. I was like, damn it, now I gotta wait.
Oh.
I thought the nurse was going to call CPS first off in the beginning chapter. I was like, oh no, that's it.
That's what were the nurses, one of the nurses saying, well, I'm not going to call because the other nurse didn't call, and then if we called later, they would be suspicious. Like, why did you wait so long? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, she didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, like the older nurse didn't want to do it. I forget exactly why. I think in case like it was fine, she didn't want to be the one who like ruffled feathers and then plus like what the day nurse saw wasn't, I guess, as bad as what the night nurse saw.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
And I feel like that supports the claim that Katie brought up, that we're seeing how many adults have failed Wavy. And I started to write down, because it's not even like, okay, yes, the mom and people who are close to her, but at the same time, like the teachers, and now we have the nurse, and then we, like, you know, we get furthermore into all the people who could have helped her, who could have done better for her, and they didn't, which is sad.
And I think it's like a cycle, because the adults who didn't help Wavy probably had adults in their life too, to, you know, have certain ideas or thoughts or behaviors in them. Because I know if it was me, just based off how my mom brought us up, she would have, like, that the idea in me is that I have to tell someone else that something inappropriate going on, and not right in my mind.
Yeah.
I was also surprised the nurses were hired by Liam, because he doesn't seem that responsible to me, but I guess he does really care about Val, so I thought that was kind of nice in his part. Mostly I don't think he's nice, but that was kind of funny for me.
Yeah.
Well, I think he didn't want to like take care of her himself also. But it's like, also, how much money does he make with his drug ring that he can afford like all those nurses?
Right.
Yeah. It was amazing. Or I was like, I know she's a little girl, but when they were doing the whole ring sizing, and then they're like, oh, this one doesn't fit, this one doesn't fit, and they're like, this is a child. I was like, oh, like I got grossed out. I'm like, her tiny little fingers, and he's still out here getting her an engagement ring. And
yeah, she was a bit.
Nobody called like Child Protective Services. Like even
that's like another
one. You know?
Yeah, and even the guy, he was like, I wrote down this. Yeah, there's something very wrong there. I wish you talked to me before you sold the ring. So it's always like missed opportunities. There is like the day nurse telling the night nurse, and now this person telling the sales lady, like, why didn't you tell me? But it already happened. Like they were too late, which is
right.
Yeah, and it's like, when does it get bad enough that you are gonna tell someone? And like, don't you feel like maybe the men are more concerned than the women? Like the women are like, oh, it's just a girl crush, like it's fine.
True.
That one guy didn't sit him down. I forgot his name. He works in the auto shop.
Yeah, the Cutchin.
Yeah.
But he also brought up the point that what is this, the 80s? But even like before, in like the 18th century, 17th century, older men were marrying younger women.
Yeah, he said he also married. He had like a 12-year gap between his wife, and he's like, oh yeah, I married her when she was 14. So it's kind of like the norm, but at the same time, it's not okay.
Like times are changing. You can't do that. But it's also talking about the guy at the ring shop. It's like the adults are passing on the responsibility of handling this situation. Like he could have also done something.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're also afraid of Kellen, like just his size. Like he's obviously, you know, into, I don't know what they know he's into, but he looks like he could beat someone up or maybe carry a weapon. Like he kind of has a reputation too in that town, so I don't know.
Oh, I probably would be scared of Kellen's.
Yeah.
I guess it brings up the theme of like how people are always though, because like maybe people are saying that, you know, Kellen, you know, will be. I just got Sawyer check. So, you know, they think that Kellen is like this, like irresponsible, not that smart person. That's what we get from some people judging him, and we get that, you know, he's going to off himself, you know, in a few years because he just seems like a lonely, depressed person, or that he could be a pervert too. But the lady from the jewelry store also is judging them a lot, right? Because it says like, oh, she says they're not gonna have money, and then as soon as you know, he whips out the cash, she is like, oh, okay, yes, you know. And I felt like it was kind of funny that as soon as like she saw that, you know, and she accepted the tip, it's kind of like she couldn't say anything because she had accepted that money as well.
It was towards the end too. She kind of just accepted the whole situation. She's like, "Oh, they look cute."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think like people that know them and have seen the relationship evolve, or like, I mean, she didn't even see them that long, but it's like when you look at them over time, it doesn't seem that wrong. But if you're just like, oh yeah, he's this age, she's this age, it sounds so bad.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I forgot who mentioned it, but about the women being more okay with it. I think they see it like they almost envy the relationship, because it's not like Liam and Sandy where Liam's beating up Sandy, or that one woman at the ring shop like never was in love. So she was like, okay, I'm just gonna let them have it because it's something I would want. Not that it makes it any more right, but just trying to think of what they're thinking.
Yeah, that whole scene with Wavy and Sandy and then Liam coming in later was very awkward, I felt.
Like that's her seeing those type of things in her past maybe explains why she wants to be so sexually active at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when, was it Sandy? Yeah, Sandy's the one that's over here teaching her about like blowjobs and sex, and she has no filter and she's honest, and I get it, that's how she is, but like realize that she's talking to a little girl, and obviously if she's getting exposed to that, they're just gonna try and do that earlier.
Is she the reason why Wavy starts like dressing, like exposing herself a little bit more?
Yeah, she even told her, I think, she's like, oh no, wear a tighter shirt. And she said, I think that outfit like determines how the date is gonna go or something like that.
She even said like, oh, Kellen would like you in this. Like tight little white shirts.
Yeah.
And maybe she was in the same situation as Wavy, being in relationships with older men when she was younger too. And she's like, okay, this is normal. But then she said, okay, you can't do math, so you're too old or too young for that.
Maybe she wants like her to escape her dad and her mom, go off with Kellen.
I think it's probably just how the culture is within their, family extended community unit. Because the women around Wavy that's pretty much probably, like someone said, that's what they grew up with and how they grew up with it. So it seems like better just talk to her about it, I guess, than not.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they probably think that they're helping her
Mhm.
based on the situation she's in. Which I guess that makes sense because it's like you try and help people based on your experiences, and if you see that someone is going through the same things, then I guess in that perspective it's okay, which goes with the whole title, all the ugly and wonderful things. Ugly for us, we would say, but wonderful for her.
Oh, good one, Judith. Yeah.
I think the sister is going to be the only one that be the one that reports them after like the parents being murdered.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you guys think happened there?
I don't know if it's Liam or Sean that's dead.
Yeah,
it's not what they looked at. Because they think it's Liam, but it could be Sean.
Mm-hmm. And Sandy was the one like, oh, Liam at the end. And I'm like, oh, God, really? After everything you saw here, like,
hello? I'm like, I can't stay away. I need to talk. It's juicy. Go ahead. Like, no, I mean, I don't have anything to say, but just like, yeah, as it's building up, like, this part is good. So what happened? They were driving back, and then she wanted to take them to Val, but shoot, what's her name? The girl.
Andy?
No, the main girl.
Oh,
Wavy.
Oh yeah, Wavy wanted to go to Kellen's and was trying to trick her, and then did get to his place. And then they were with Donald, right? And then and then they went to the house. It was empty, right? So then they went down to the dad's place, like where Sandy was. And what did Sandy say? She's like, oh.
Did she say she would be back? I think she said that, what's her name? Her mom was gone and that she was out and she'll be back. Like maybe she did go out with Liam.
Yeah, like did she know they were together or?
I don't know.
Covering up for Val.
Yeah, because she seemed to not know where Liam was because she was surprised that he was the one that was supposedly in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And then why did they go back up to the house? Like they were gonna wait for her? Because she said they were coming back? Is that it?
Didn't the Sandy say that Donald had gone to visit his mom?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that after? I don't remember if that's why they went back up. Or I think they saw a car and then they went.
Well, I think Donald was dropped off at the farm.
Yeah.
And then he walked home. He walked home, and that's when they drove back to the house and noticed that there was footsteps. And they're like,
but weren't they driving? Were they driving away? And that's when the girls told her about the relationship with Wavy. Yeah. And then did she turn around and go to Val's? Yeah. And then that's when they found it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have this feeling like the way Sandy was acting, because, they're like, oh, Val's dead, or there was a murder. Mm-hmm. And then later they were like, she was like, Liam and Val are dead. And Sandy was like, you didn't say Liam was dead. But it almost implied, like, did she know Val was going to die? Did she know he was going to kill Val? Or...
Maybe she set her up.
Yeah.
I feel like Donald might be involved. I mean, I know he's a child, but...
That's what I thought, too. Like, when I saw or read the footsteps, I was like, did Donald kill his parents?
I mean, he could have thought maybe the gun wasn't, like, had the safe on or something. Like, he could have thought it was a toy.
That's true.
Yeah, because weren't they, like, learning how to Didn't they teach him how to shoot while he was living there?
I think maybe someone killed his mom, either Sean or Liam, and then he killed them with the gun. Saw it happen. That's just my.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you guys think that it was, I'm imagining maybe Liam thought that Sean and Val were fooling around. Maybe he got jealous and then a fight ensued and then that's when some shots happened. Or maybe they did try to do a business deal and that went sour and then they were fighting and Val got involved and then the shots happened.
Because where were they sitting? Like, she was on the chair, right? And he was like in the hallway
I'm gonna look.
or something.
I have to look it up.
Like where they found them down.
It must have been a third person that just walked in and shot them. Like, oh, noticed they had just gotten home and then got there, shot them, and then left. That's why there was bloody footprints.
Yeah, it says, that's when I saw the woman crumpled on her side onto the kitchen floor with the chair toppled next to her. I knew Aunt Val.
Yeah, like she fell. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Like maybe she was shot first and then someone came like, oh, what's going on? Came out from the hall and then that person was shot and they fell in the hall. That's like the only way that, I mean, it makes sense to me that way.
Like you guys said, I think Sandy must, I mean, how can she not hear the gunshots? I mean, remember how far those two places are from each other?
You would still hear it,
Yeah.
depending on if it's a shotgun, those are pretty loud.
Yeah, wasn't she like, oh, Val will be back soon? Like, she knew where she was.
Yes, she said that twice, right? She said, oh, Val's out. And then she said, oh, Val should be back soon or by now, something like that. And then they all went up.
And then Butch is out here all worried about their lab.
I know.
Of course.
I like how we completely skipped like the whole like few chapters where they were going back and forth on how like they, you know.
Oh yeah. I thought they had like already done it. They had hooked up on, because I'm separating it by like the chapters. So I'm like 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 where it's Donald, I was like, oh my gosh, for his birthday, he stayed over and like, oh my goodness, they freaking did it. But then we find out that that's not what happened. And I was like,
I don't think she's done it yet. She hasn't
No, they
done it,
haven't.
or else she would.
I know. That's what I'm wondering. Like, did she? Because she's like acting like she did, but I don't know if she ever said.
I don't think she's ever told like people like, oh yeah, we're doing it. I think she kind of implied like, oh, like I gave him a blowjob. I, you know, or hand, like whatever, a hand job.
hand job.
Like
Yeah,
I think that she's like, oh, we're doing stuff, but I don't think she's been super clear with anyone that she's sharing.
Yeah, and
like that she lost her virginity.
And her cousin and everyone else is assuming that. They're the ones who are like, oh, she's having sex, but she's not, just because she said like, oh yeah, I've done these things, I've gone all the way, but they're just telling each other that they love themselves, or not themselves, but like each other. Like, what was that line they keep saying?
We can be dirty because we love each other or something, or like it's not dirty if we love each other.
Because you love me all the way, or you love me, something like that.
Oh yeah. I think she also doesn't fully know what all the way is.
No, she's a kid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So she thinks that's enough. It's love.
Well, she does say like the F word, like quite a bit. Like, oh, they're fucking. Like,
that's true.
Like I feel like she knows. Maybe she doesn't know how to, because that's not something you can share like on magazines. And I feel like that's where she's learned most of what, like from either seeing other people do it, or you know, I don't think she's actually walked in on someone like in the middle of it to know that's like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true. I think her main source is definitely the magazines that he has. And then when she left it on like his bed or something, like, this is what I want, I was like, You are bold, lady.
Yes.
Little girl. Oh my God. But he's still kind of like, no, we can't do this. But like
I'm like, I wonder what picture that was.
yeah, oh, what was that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That whole section, yeah.
But I think it's gonna happen soon, and I'm wondering like how old will she be when it truly happens? You know, because even though he's trying to resist, I think you mentioned the last time, he kind of like doesn't resist that hard.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think because the Brenda's now involved and this whole murder happened, she's gonna
Yes.
take the kids because they have no other family.
That could be it.
And like, you know, she's gonna probably somehow lose touch with Kellen, or she's gonna throw him in jail or something. I don't know. Like the whole, like everything's gonna come out with the whole lab and stuff, and everything's just gonna blow up, and she's gonna be miserable.
Oh.
Or maybe CPS will finally get involved and just like
Mhm.
you know, separate Wavy and Donald and shift them off to a whole different area.
Yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen, because she hasn't done it so far. Like, what just happened? Like, that's gonna blow everything out.
Right.
Or maybe they'll move away. They always talk about that.
I was about to say, or she escapes with Kellen, and that's it. Like somehow she's like, no, I'm not gonna go with my aunt. I want to be, and she keeps saying she wants to be with Kellen, and Kellen's for her birthday, and I want to see him, and yeah. So I don't know. I feel like not in the end they're gonna end up together, but at some point it's gonna be just them two.
Like that's how it's gonna end. Like they're gonna follow the stars and see each other in a field or something.
I didn't think about that. I just thought they were gonna
Isn't that how she gets home? She follows the stars.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I mean, they have stars on the cover. I feel like it's, you know, it's like a field and stars. I feel like that's their happy place.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're trying to figure out if it's going to be a tragedy or a love story.
Yeah.
They're going to go really bad, or they're going to connect at the end.
Maybe
Good.
both. Maybe it will go really
Yeah.
bad, and then at the end, once they're older, they'll come back. I don't know.
Did you guys ever watch that show on Hulu called A Teacher?
No.
It kind of reminds me of that. I mean, I don't really recommend, because it's similar to this story, and it's very uncomfortable, especially if you're a teacher. But it reminds me, like, they said that they were so in love. It was a younger high school boy and then his teacher, female teacher. And they were so in love. He loved her. He wanted to be with her for the rest of his life. But then after he went to college, he started like having a lot of PTSD and a lot of mental issues as a result of their sexual encounters. And like he like ended up resenting her and hating her. He was in his mind in love with her, but an adult had taken advantage of him in a weakened state, because that adult had a lot of issues. And she tried to, at the end, put the blame on him because he's the one who instigated it. Kind of like with Wavy. And not to give spoilers, sorry if you wanted to watch it, but it's very simple. So I wonder when she's older, will she like see this as abusive, or she really like, to her, this is the love of her life?
It's like sounds like Dark Vanessa, my Dark Vanessa.
Yeah.
Even Kellen's like, if she wants to still be with me when she does that, then I want that. But he's even like, I don't even know if she will.
Wavy seems invested though, because she, you know, rejected the boy for the 8th grade dance pretty hard.
Yeah.
Her fiance is not gonna like that.
My fiance won't like that.
That's another thing. Why was she telling like her cousins everything when they're supposed to be keeping this secret?
Right.
Bragging rights.
I think so. Especially because she probably like, I mean, Amy's nice, but the other cousin isn't really as nice, right? So maybe that's why Wavy's doing it, to kind of like seem cooler, like have a different status than those two cousins, because I don't know. She doesn't want to be there, but I think it's not very often too that Wavy has a lot of attention on her, so maybe she was enjoying the attention from her cousins
Yeah.
and like shocking them, you know, because she is a rebel in a way, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Especially around them.
When I read her, like Wavy's perspective versus other people's perspective, she seems like a totally different person. Like in her cousin's eyes, she's like this wild child, which she is, I guess. But like she's like very, I don't know, a lot more dramatic in other people's eyes than she is when we're in her perspective. She's like she feels like a very small person, small action.
A simple girl, like, yeah, not complex the way that everyone else does describe her. I see that. Because it's amazing when they do talk about her. I'm like, really? She did that? Oh, okay. It's interesting. It's kind of nice to see the different perspectives to then, obviously, because, I mean, as a human, we have that. We each have different faces of different people, different groups. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, I love books where it changes between the character's perspective that much deeper.
I just realized we haven't had Liam or Val's perspective, have we?
No, we
Yeah,
haven't.
no.
And you're right. I don't think we've had Val either.
But there was a time where she talked about like, oh, or what? Maybe it wasn't her perspective, but it was talking about like when the kids were younger, and she used to say something about like, oh, it's all dirty. This is all dirty. Something like that, right?
Wavy's perspective.
Was it Wavy?
I haven't written, because look, I write down the names. I wrote down the numbers and then the names of whoever that number is. And I don't have her or Liam.
Yeah, I don't think. Definitely not Val. I would love to hear her.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
I wonder if they'll flash back in the future and give us their perspective so we find out what happened that night.
The only reason I can think of is maybe they're the ones more directly traumatizing Wavy, and so then the author doesn't want to give them that attention, if that makes sense. Like she'd rather
yeah,
information through other characters.
yeah.
That's a good point, though. I didn't even catch that.
That's interesting.
It's just strange, like, so there was no car at that house, right? No motorcycle. I don't know. Because if he was going to visit, he'd probably have his vehicle there.
And Brenda and the girls had gone there, I think, right after Wavy left the car. And no one was there because they pushed open the door and there was like dirty dishes. And then and Donna was like, okay, you can take me back to the farmhouse or the ranch. And then they went back. It seemed like it was like half an hour later, and then all that happened.
Yeah, it seemed like really soon.
Maybe what's his name? Dylan. Donald. There we go. Totally spaced on his name. What if he like walked in because he heard gunshots and it was like, so he saw them and like got scared and ran away. Like maybe he had nothing to do with it, but like witnessed the aftermath. Because I don't think he'd have like the heart to actually do something like that, you know.
And that's tricky because I remember at the beginning how Wavy was trying to protect her brother from kind of being traumatized the same way, but if he was witness to that, then he's going to have major PTSD at least. That's pretty sad.
Especially because it seems like he liked the adult a little bit more than Wavy did, because he treated him better as a boy.
Yeah. It's like his childhood is kind of over, you know, having witnessed something like that if he did see it.
Yeah, I don't think Donald would have killed them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not both of them.
I think the one dead is Sean. Is that his name, Sean?
Mhm.
And Liam.
Oh, because he was face down. So
Mhm.
maybe she thought it was Liam, but it was Sean. Yeah, they must look similar.
I think they were both blonde or something, right? So
They're brothers, yeah.
Yeah, and the sister hasn't seen Liam like in forever, right? Because
Mhm.
they always get dropped off by someone random.
Mhm.
Really
Ah,
hope they revisit that though and let us know what actually happened. Like I hope they don't just leave us hanging.
Yeah, I hope they
yeah.
Maybe they'll do Donald's perspective if he saw it all.
True, yeah. I wonder where Donald went. I feel so bad.
They probably have to go hide in the forest somewhere or something.
Like, why wouldn't he go to Sandy to get help, you know?
Maybe he heard that Sandy was involved. If that is the case, that's a good point. Because he seems to like Sandy.
Like, unless Val, I don't know, was killing herself or gonna kill them. I don't know. I don't know.
I think Butch was saying like someone needed to go look for him in the meadow because that was the direction he was heading in.
Mhm.
And I don't know, maybe he went to that watering can that they're swimming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause, like that seems to be his like thing, swimming.
yeah.
Where was Kellen in all this?
Was that his house?
That's a good question. I think someone was trying to call him, but he wasn't picking up. And I can't remember who.
I think it was unclear because they had dropped off Wavy at the garage,
Mhm. And nobody
assuming
was
he
there.
was there, but I don't know for sure if he was. So,
Yeah, because I
Maybe.
think it seemed like nobody was there, or I'm assuming nobody was there. So then when they do go and see all that murder scene, Wavy's not there, Donald's not there, it's only the dead people. And then they go back with Sandy. But is Kellen home? What if he's not? What if he's part of this and he just like, because it is Wavy's birthday. So I'm thinking, what if he's over here like, let me gift you a good life without
Murdering your parents.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he killed other people before,
True.
and he's out here trying
Or-
to like obviously make her happy. Although that's a really gory gift, you know.
Maybe have done it like thinking like, oh, I can be with Kellen, you know. If I don't have my parental. But then how would she have done it if she's over there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, is there a motive or was this just a druggy kind of thing?
That's true. It could have been if like they were both high and an accident happened, kind of, or it could have been something went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very curious, though.
It's just weird. No one was there and then they were there like, you know, no vehicle outside or anything.
Yeah. But I don't want to blame Kellen, but maybe.
Was Val still injured too? Like, was she barely recovered? Was she in a weakened state? You know, if she was weaker, she might have just been like a sitting duck there too. Like maybe she wasn't. Maybe she just got in between. You know, maybe it wasn't really her causing anything.
Oh, that's true.
Because the nurse had just left, right? So she was a little bit stronger, but still, I'm imagining still not fully recovered from the accident.
Right.
She also could have committed suicide.
Yeah.
She was.
Maybe thought Liam was going to leave her or something.
Yeah, maybe she was just strong enough to do that.
Because the nurses weren't coming by anymore, so she didn't have to worry about that.
Maybe Sean came and was trying to stop her and she just shot him too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many.
And I hope we find out. This is like
We
too
better.
good. I'm gonna like start reading right when we finish.
Yeah, me too.
Tonight.
Well,
I might too.
I'll fix my bookshelf and then I'll do that. But yeah, with that said, the next section, I think I put 70 pages, a little bit less actually, it's like 60. So it would be chapter 3, and then, where is it, part 5 up to chapter 5. So I don't know if you guys have my pages, because I left off at 212. So I go from 212 to 280, but technically it's the rest of part 4.
Yeah.
Part 5.
My pages are different.
And stop at 6, right?
Yeah. So then part 5, and then don't read Wavy's 6.
Okay.
Read 5 for Renee, whoever Renee is.
It has been marked.
Wait,
Ooh,
so
I'm
this
like
is
reading the titles of the chapters. Like, so good.
part 5. What?
Yeah.
Where do we
So-
stop in part 5? Chapter 2.
No, chapter 5. So read chapter 5.
Stop at 5.
Stop
Read
at
chapter
6.
5.
So I
at
have the
Wavy.
paperback, and it's read
Yeah.
through 3:30 too.
3:30.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
have-
I know we can probably do the rest of the book, but I'll keep it a little short.
Yeah,
Mystery.
This
And-
is good. Then we can. Oh yeah, and then next week we'll finish. The week after we'll finish.
Yes, and with that, Julie, since you are like our newest member, what we do is 2 weeks before the book ends, we bring in our book suggestions for the following month, and that week
Okay.
is when we do
So
the
next
voting.
week?
And So
How do you guys pick books? You just find them like randomly.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what I do sometimes I forget and I just go through whatever I have on my bookshelf, and I'm like, you know what, I've been trying to read this one and I just never get to it, so then we bring it in. Or at least that's what I do.
And you get 2 minutes
Yeah.
to pitch. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, and we also do
do
that.
we?
So it's
Oh.
if you want to, a lot of the girls like it because then we get introduced to the book here, and we don't have to like do our own research and be like, oh, what is this book about? Instead of just being like, hey, we have this book. Okay, what is it about? And then we kind of get a little intro to the book, and I put links up on Instagram too. I usually just put the Amazon one because then you can go down and it has the whole full like description. And then you can do further research if you want. But that's how we do it. And
Okay.
then there's the poll, like we did it, but that's how the books get chosen. Cause
Okay.
yeah.
I won't miss it this time. Promise, Judith.
It's okay. I figured you were gonna pick something, so I was like, Oh, my sister's updating me with the Grammys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I turned it on. So who writes those little synopses for the Instagram? Do you write those, Judith, or is it from?
Yes, I do.
Amazon?
I wanted to, at some point I mentioned that I wanted to like allow each one of us to maybe be in control of the account, but I always forget, and by the time it comes, it's just like, nah. So like if someone is interested, just let me know. I can just hand over the password and all that stuff. Or if you want to send a picture, they've done that. Corina and Crystal have sent me pictures and then I put them up or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But if you want to do a post, let me know. I can give you access.
I'd probably be bad at that.
Yeah, it's not that hard. You just hashtag this, hashtag that, just hashtag everything, and just updates. So yeah, so that's our next section. And if you want to suggest a book, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. Usually we do. We all bring one. But if you
I'll
don't,
remind you to join at the end of next meeting.
what was that?
I'll remind Rico because next month is his month.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, if he wants to bring a book in, we can do that. And if you, like I said, if you don't have a book that you're like, I want to suggest it, it's okay. I think we'll have plenty.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. If you have any more comments, any more.
Yes, we didn't comment on the part of Kellen's birthday and the first kind of like dates. I was a little like surprised. Think of like prom for some reason, like a prom date.
Oh yeah.
Where she's wearing the green dress, right?
Yeah, and the picture and the makeup.
Why did they take a picture? Like if it was prom. That was funky.
Yeah, like she has a camera, like, which is kind of, I don't know. You think of them like poor, but they're not really poor. Like he can afford, or I don't know who bought her that camera, but it's like they have money if they have this camera like that. I wonder what else is on her camera.
Oh la la.
I think it's mostly Wavy. She wants a picture. She wants them to have this very mature relationship, and he kind of just goes along with what she wants.
She's to shift them, like she wants to move them to the next level is what I think, kind of with the date and the birthday stuff. But it is nice in a way because I feel like Kellen never had anyone to kind of do that for him. Maybe like when Kellen does something for her birthday, but I just felt like imagining them like sit down to a formal date, you know, as in their first date was kind of like a little different for sure.
Yeah, and like what those people at the restaurant must have thought. Like, what is going on?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
And kind of like, you know, people used to think they're this father-daughter. They'd be like, oh, how cute. And then it's like becoming clear as she's older and this relationship where it's like, kids that age don't act like that with their dad, you know.
Because she's almost in high school now, right? So she's like 14, 15.
Yeah, I think she started high school in 8th grade.
They keep bringing up the thing how it's like no one's business. And that's kind of how the adults are acting. Oh, well, it's not my business. So I won't say anything.
But I feel like that also has to do a lot with like the business they're in. Nobody asks questions.
That's
It's like, oh, they're used to that.
That's a good point.
They probably all have like stuff they've done, you know. Like, I'm not gonna dig in your business if you don't dig in mine.
Right. That makes sense.
And like you guys were saying, who wants to mess with Kellen? To like question him.
But like no one really knows if they are sexually active. No one really knows that. I think they assume they're not. So
I kind of wonder if like the culture back in the 70s, 80s was just like they just didn't care or they didn't pay attention to that kind of stuff. I don't know if that has to do anything.
You're spirited.
yeah, but like clearly the mom cares. You start feeding her. I mean Brenda, the aunt cares.
Yeah, I definitely think she's going to become more involved because she's going to be seeing the aftermath of whatever happened. And in a way, though, she's kind of not that street smart, able to kind of take her away from like the situation and calling the police and everything. But I don't think she's going to, let it go that easy.
I also think it's interesting how like the author's kind of painting her as the bad guy. I guess she is in Wavy's world, the bad guy. Even though he's kind of doing what we would want an adult to do. It's like being, like, not really listening to Wavy.
Mm-hmm.
With the, because calling the police, trying to get them together on her birthday. Shocked that she's having this relationship with an older man. Wanting to tell the other people about their relationship, but she's still kind of painted as this bad guy too.
Yeah, because right before they found the bodies, she was grilling her daughters, right? Like, tell me everything, and you're involved too.
Yeah.
And why did the daughter bring that up randomly at that time?
She was salty towards Wavy, I think, for stealing her crush.
That's what's interesting too, that the boys, the older boys, like, and even I think in her classmates, they're attracted to her, but she's the one who's like, nope, I have my fiance. My fiance's not gonna like that you're sending notes to me or something like that. And I'm just like,
Right.
oh my goodness, girl, like you have people interested in you, but you are stuck on this man. And yeah, that brings.
Sounds like Vanessa.
What was that?
Yeah.
Sounds like Vanessa.
Yeah,
But
that's
again,
what I
that's like, you know,
wonder.
her being so young, she's like, that's all she knows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Her first
Yeah, I wonder
love.
if the kids are gonna have some psych issues. Like, I mean, they seem pretty well adapted, like, for all they've been through.
I wonder if she's so fixated on Kellen because it's like he's like the one consistent stable person in her life too. So even if she was kind of interested in another person, she wouldn't want to let that stability go because it's like too much change to cope with amidst like all the uncertain things that she has. Especially she says nothing is ever yours. But Kellen is that one thing that might be able to be hers.
I think they will, because if she hasn't gone through what she has in her childhood, I don't think she would be with Kellen.
Mm-hmm.
And if like he does, they do end up getting caught, and then she's like distraught, she'll end up with maybe more issues. Or if he doesn't, like her mom passing, what will that do to her?
Right.
She doesn't really like to be around her mom, but still her mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough.
I feel like she'll be okay with her mom dying just because I think she wasn't really a reliable person in her life. And her mom wasn't doing much for her besides just like being there, and I don't know, just not, she wasn't even watching her. And even with the nurses, I think she was just like judging her or saying certain comments, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I think she'd be upset is because either CPS would take her away or she would have to go stay with Liam, even though he would probably give her up to CPS.
That's true. I can see that.
She wouldn't be near Kellen anymore.
Yeah.
Just have to go to Brenda.
Favorite.
Yeah, sure.
We all love Brenda.
She's great. What do you mean?
I don't know. She seems like one of those ladies that are just like kind of get up in your business when you don't want them to, you know?
I can see
Like
that.
La Chismosa from the neighborhood.
De la
Knows
cuadra.
everybody's business. Yeah.
Even her husband like gets so annoyed by her.
Oof. We don't have a point of view for him either.
That's
I
true.
mean, he's not that important, really, but that's interesting.
I don't think he's complex enough to have.
I feel like
Yeah.
if it was him,
Yeah.
it'd just be like just sitting here with, you know, spacing
Yeah,
out.
that's true. He would contribute nothing. Except, like, I don't
Yeah,
want her
go to
here.
work. That's what he'll say.
I was just thinking, I'm like, is it mostly females' point of view? But it's not. We have Kellen, Donald, the Cutchin guy, Butch, so it's not.
And then I think when I was flipping through the pages, I didn't read more of it, I promise, but there's like a police officer point of view too eventually, because it says officer something or deputy something.
I know. I peeked forward and I saw. I didn't
I
read.
know I saw it
just
just
the
now when
titles.
I was looking for the chapter. I think I'm gonna reread the last two chapters, like the beginning of this part, and just reread because like so much happened in those two chapters.
And yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When we were trying to determine or like really like make it clear what happened, it was all such like a blur. And I was looking through the pages, and it was like 3 pages where all this information was given to us. And I was like, that was a lot. So I think
Yeah.
I think I would probably reread that too, just to really get the nitty-gritty details of where is Kellen? Who was there? Do we actually know he's blonde? Because I think the mom Brenda just mentioned like, oh, it's Liam and Val, and nothing else besides like another body was mentioned. From what I
What if it was
And
Kellen
it
on
was
the
like
floor?
face down.
Yeah, what if there's body? And yeah,
I don't know. She knows what Kellen looks like, right?
Yeah, she does.
But you know, in the moment of panic, do you really think that you're gonna be like, you know, who is it? Flip it over.
Yeah, but I think Liam and his brother like do look super similar.
Yeah, I think
So that is could totally mix those two up.
Yeah, I think they don't say much about the other body from what I saw. So I'm assuming she probably thinks that Liam is with Val in the house. And I don't think she would be like, oh, it's Kellen. Because like the connection between Kellen and Val is not really, you know, there. Liam and Val, husband and wife, they're like, okay, yeah, they're together, you know, but they're not really. She doesn't know that. All that stuff.
I also thought it was strange. She wasn't like scared for herself. Like, wouldn't you? Two people were just murdered. This random guy, Butch, is showing up, telling you everything's gonna be okay. He'll handle it.
Yeah, like she's not suspicious of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think Karina said she's not very street smart. She's just kind of
plot twist. She murdered them.
Yeah.
And he was like telling her like, "Okay, we're gonna call the cops."
She killed him with a poisonous pie.
Oh my gosh, that'd be, if that happens, that's gonna be like
hilarious.
How? The husband came with them in the trunk and he did it.
Really? So they don't have to babysit them anymore. Oh my god.
No, but that means they keep the kids. So yeah, the husband wouldn't be the husband. I don't know. I say it's either Liam or I want to say it's Kellen.
Sally?
Who's dead? Who's dead or who killed them?
Who killed
them?
I think the person dead is Sean. Because I feel like
Liam
Wavy's.
Do you think Wavy's involved in the killing at all?
I don't think
Could
so.
be.
Yes, the whole time.
Well, no, she was with. The garage was like down the street too. That would have been a longer walk.
I don't think she's involved. She's probably looking for Kellen, and Kellen somehow escaped and like.
Oh yeah, is Kellen alive? Where's Kellen?
Yeah,
oh,
Kellen dies, and that's how the book ends or something. Who knows? Because he's been killing people sometimes here and there. Maybe one of the deals goes sour.
Could have also been Dee and Ricky, the two other girls, because we only saw Sandy, and they're usually all there.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, and don't they like all have guns or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true. I can see Dee doing that. So she was there for like emotional support, but Liam always was like, "Oh, Val," you know. Even though he was with these other girls, Val was always like the one.
Yeah, that's why I thought they would be happy when Val got into the accident, because I think Sandy was around, or she was mentioned around the time of the accident and the hospital. And she just said like she was a problem solver, but I was wondering like, why didn't she just finish the job there if she's really that jealous of Val? I don't know. I guess it just depends on if they're capable of being killers or not.
I don't know. It's just weird. Why would Liam like spend all that money rehabbing Val to kill her? You know, unless he saw her with his brother and got so mad.
Which I think that could be it.
I feel like that
It
sounds
seems
the
like he
most
gets really
reasonable.
jealous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the theory that we said, or I think Katie mentioned, that Donald is Sean's? What if they find out? Or what if Liam found out? And that's what that whole
Maybe like now that Donald has been living with him.
Maybe the resemblance is stronger now that he's growing up.
Oh. That would be interesting.
Definitely.
what would be the other motive? Because I mean, it seemed like he appeared a bit jealous when they were like, oh, that Sean was back in the chapters. I don't remember where, but they were all in the same house, and I think they ended up doing drugs together. But Liam seemed a bit like jealous with the whole Sean and Val thing. But I feel like I expected more. So like maybe finding out that there's an actual child that he thinks and he like loves and everything, wants to keep him and stuff, is not his. I think that changes his emotions.
Or didn't she get injured because of Sean? Like her and Sean got in a fight or something?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe now he figured out how that all happened and he's like trying to seek revenge. Or maybe Sean came back, was trying to like, I don't know, apologize, and then Liam saw him and was like, you're the cause of everything, and just killed him.
Also true.
If Donald really is Sean's child, Liam doesn't want anyone to know, so he killed both of them. That way they can't tell anybody.
Ooh.
What if they wanted to do like a DNA test or something and then, transfer custody or something, and Liam just can't handle it because, number one, he does like Donald and he thinks Donald has been his child this whole time. But he also doesn't want other people to find out because he's supposed to be the lead of the whole setup, right? And if you are like the boss and you get cheated on, like you don't want that information getting out because other people will start, saying you're weak or just find a chink in the armor to bring the kingpin down.
Yeah.
Kellen finally called Wavy his girlfriend, which is one of the first things one of the few things we were like talking about last time. Like,
Yeah, when did you do that?
That was like age
I
13?
forgot.
14?
I think it's also to maybe help make Wavy feel better because she does get so jealous.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was also gonna mention.
Nice motorcycle.
Super jealous. I think like Liam?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that could be another scenario, like maybe Kellen gets really intoxicated, he ends up having a fling with somebody else, Wavy finds out, and then that's the end of things.
Yeah.
Because of how she gave him the ring on that one time when, he didn't want to go further or something.
But he's also like doing these things, like the first things that she wants them to happen, and then he's like, okay, well, I want to do them because it makes her happy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like doing it like his first nature isn't because he wants to do it necessarily. Maybe that's like the second thought, but his first thought is always, okay, what does she want?
Mm-hmm. This is a really good book.
I think I'll read it tonight.
That's for me. That's it for me.
Yeah, I think that's it for me too.
The babies are
So once again, the rest of part 4,
Looks so good.
and then part 5 up to 5.
Sounds good.
We'll
Okay.
see who finishes by tomorrow.
I'm gonna wait a little
Everybody.
bit. If I start reading tonight, I'll finish it. So I'm gonna wait.
Since I read it so
Should we
early,
just have we could always just have our meeting on Wednesday.
I was able to go back to this one.
Yes.
I'm not
How
that
are you,
far.
Judith?
I'm not that far.
Judith, you've had it like 3 weeks already. 4 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't read it for 3 weeks.
Which one?
So it's this Crystal. This is Crystal's book. Her name's on there. She
That's
dropped
why I
it
don't use
off,
it.
and we wanted to do like a little like
The
sisterhood of
the
Traveling
travel.
book. But only
Oh.
Crystal has read it. I was like, I want to read it next. I want to read it next, and I've had it for 3 weeks. Because it's
Longer.
what? No.
It's been longer, yes, because
No.
I remember I went to go visit my friend, and it was like, I want to say it was like January.
No,
The end of January.
It was not.
Yes, because it was before my anniversary, which was in January 20th, to be exact.
Yeah.
It was before that I dropped off the book.
You're right. It's been 2 months. We'll see.
It's been almost 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months, and I didn't really touch
So I
it.
made a mistake by dropping it off at Judith.
Yeah. You should have sent it to Corina.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we would have started out strong.
I read a Scandalous book recently. It was the one
Oh yeah.
you guys before. It's like the You Had Me at Hola, and it was like this
Oh yeah.
like telenovela dramatic novel.
You already finished it?
Yeah, I finished it in
Oh my
about.
god.
I was thinking of Judith because it was so romantical.
But was it good?
It was decent. I mean, it's good for escapism when you need to de-stress.
Uh,
It a 4 out of 5, but I like how, because the main characters and almost all the characters were Latinx, like they said a little bit of Spanish in there, so I kind of, they were Puerto Rican, so I learned a little bit more Puerto Rican culture, and it was cool because the 2 main characters were actors, and they're playing love interests on their show, but then they also fall in love.
oh.
Book sometimes switches between like what's happening in real life and what's happening between the characters of the show, and it kind of adds to their development.
that's cool.
It wasn't that long.
But I will try to get farther into this one, and then I will send it to whoever is next.
It's either north or south.
Yeah, that's true.
so
Geographically, you're in the middle.
whoever says I first, I will send it that way. Give me 1 week. I literally
1 week?
know
Yeah.
it's I will
It's
try.
really quick. It's like there's not a lot of words per page.
Girl, I know, but like I'm also training for the marathon and I die quick. I'm literally running after work and I'm making my food and then it's already time to go to sleep.
Well, now the sun goes down later, so you'll have.
Oh yeah, you'll have more time.
No, exactly that. That is a little bit more time, kind of, maybe.
Are you
an
doing a
extra
half
hour.
or?
I'm
After
doing a full marathon. I signed up to do a full marathon. 'Cause,
Wow.
yeah. I decided I turned 26 this year, so I'm gonna run a mile for each year. Which is a goal.
I've done a half before.
Yeah, that's nice. How long ago was that?
I think 2015 or 14.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's probably your age. That's probably 26.
Are you gonna do it,
Run
Crystal?
longer than 3 minutes. So.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. Your body can actually go for a long time.
Or
I'll
you can-
try. I just have never. I had like PTSD from the mile in high school. So once I get over that, I'll try.
You're like, I'm done.
But it's been like
Or,
12 years. I haven't gone over it.
or some people can like speed walk, pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I
you
like
just
to
keep
walk.
I feel that burns way more than running. Speed walking burns your calves. Like I can't
Yeah,
for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
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 Which one are you doing, Judith? Which one?
I'm doing this one in Ventura. It's called, I think, Shoreline Ventura.
Shoreline.
It's in July, so I kind of started my training too early, which is fine because I'm already dead like most of the time. But I still got time.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that's awesome. I did the rock and roll.
Oh,
San
that
Diego.
sounds fun. Rock and roll. Do they play music?
I think so. I think they had a few like bands along the way.
Oh, nice.
I think there was like an after party, but I didn't stay.
Oh, they have tacos and beer for this one at the end, which
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be tired. I'm like, oh, just let me here on the floor.
You're gonna be hungry.
Ugh.
But
Get
don't
one
eat
of
before
those.
because you might throw up.
Get one of those Asian foot massages the day after. Trust me, you'll need it.
I'll think about that.
The one in Slow had massages too.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but it looked awesome. I should have done it. Because then you see
went
people
on.
just laying there on their backs. Heaven.
I think I'm gonna need that.
I've been wanting to get a massage with them. I do the wiggle break with my students and we do different little exercises sometimes. And then when I do arm circles, it's like crack, crack, crack.
Yeah, I feel like now I'm cracking more and I'm like, what is this? What happened? What? Since when? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
tough.
taking a lead here, so I have to unravel.
Yeah, I like the Asian foot spas. And they're cheap.
All right, ladies, I'm gonna go have second dinner, a piece of pizza for Pie Day.
Oh, I did have pizza.
Nice.
Not the Blaze pizza, the one that's $3.14. But I get pizza.
Wait.
We,
Oh, it's pie. Oh, I was like,
Yeah,
is it pizza day?
Like,
I should have made a pizza. Damn it.
I
I'll see you
wanted
guys
to
next
go
week.
buy.
we had pie. 2 pies.
Oh, nice.
Bye, Karina. Okay.
Okay, I gotta go shower.
Okay.
Cochina. Just kidding. Okay, I will see you all next weekend. I already set the party.
Okay.
I'll still put it up on Instagram. Don't forget your
Okay.
book.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.